How's it going, Giants fans? My name is Alex with my co-host here, Anthony Rivardo, and our good luck charm, Tibosaurus Rex, and Kayvon Thibodeau may be making his first appearance this Monday against the Dallas Cowboys, which would be absolutely awesome. The latest update is that him and Ojulari are close to getting back. They're close. We'll see how far they are actually before game time. I imagine it'll probably be a game time decision. But, hopefully they can practice this week. I think they were practicing today with the team, which is a very, very good sign that they are taking some big steps forward toward making a recovery. But today we want to discuss the safeties on this team. Dane Belton, Julian Love, and Xavier McKinney. All three of those guys made a significant impact in many different ways against the Carolina Panthers. And I believe that Wink Martindale is going to use them significantly in the near future, especially since our linebacker core is a little bit thin. They did bring in Jalen Smith ahead of the Dallas game. They liked what they saw apparently. They also brought in Joe Schobert, who we talked about yesterday, but Jalen Smith is the guy that they ended up going with. Some athleticism, some speed, some size. He can rush the passer. I wonder if he actually gets some snaps in the coming weeks here. But, those safeties have really mitigated a little bit of weakness there. And I'm just excited to discuss kind of Belton in specific and Julian Love, who really stood out in this game, had a tremendous, had just a couple tremendous plays toward the final stretch against the Panthers to win that game. But Anthony, before we dive into this topic at hand, how do you do, my friend?
I'm doing great, and I'm going to pat myself on the back because leading up to week 2's game all week long, I was saying you're going to see Julian Love playing in the box, playing to cover those running backs, cover Christian McCaffrey, and you're going to see a lot of nickel and a lot of dime packages. And the Giants in week 2 ran a lot of dime packages. Now that we're seeing some of the stats, post-game stats about it, seeing what Wink Martindale's usage was of certain players, they ran a lot of dime, and they had Julian Love playing a lot of box linebacker / safety. And it was great to see, and I think it was a very well-executed game plan, and I think that it did highlight the fact that Julian Love is an extremely versatile player. Xavier McKinney is a great safety, and Dane Belton in his NFL debut has a knack for getting around the football and is a very versatile player that needs to see his role expanded in the Giants defense. And I'm super excited to see that happen. Again, I think once again, you're going to see a lot of dime packages against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a pretty run-heavy team, so you might see more linebackers. That's probably why they signed Jalen Smith to their practice squad, and they are looking at Joe Schobert, who we talked about yesterday. But I do still think you're going to see a lot of safeties in the box, Julian Love in the box, and probably an increased role in the defense from Dane Belton. And I'm really excited to see what his impact can be in the Giants defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Dane Belton, rookie, first game, his first play on the ball, recovered a fumble, which is absolutely fantastic. That's what you want to see from a rookie making an impact immediately, whether it be on special teams or on the defensive side. And the Giants asked him to do a couple of really interesting things against the Carolina Panthers, of course. With the lack of linebacker support, they really looked at their safeties to stop Christian McCaffrey. They looked at them to play in the box, specifically Julian Love and Xavier McKinney. We'll take a look at their snap counts, but Dane Belton specifically, we'll start off with him. Obviously, we want to focus on him today. 6'1", 205 pounds. He's not even 22 years old yet, just turned of age to drink alcohol legally. He went to Iowa, of course, as you guys know. He's a 4th-round pick this year. Broke his clavicle over the summer. Now he's fully healed. He didn't play today, probably just a rest day to make sure he's good to go for this upcoming week against the Dallas Cowboys. But he played in 39 snaps at free safety and 6 in the box. He's traditionally more of a strong safety, really, really good in zone coverage. He had 5 interceptions for Iowa last year in his final season at the collegiate level. And that was really where I thought he would make it the most of his impact, right? I thought he'd be really good playing that zone coverage role. I know the Giants play more man heavy now with Wink Martindale in that blitz heavy system, the cover 1 scheme, but I kind of get the sense that Dane Belton is going to play a couple of different roles here. I think he's going to wear many different hats. We're already seeing him transition to free safety. We're seeing him play in the box a little bit. I'm excited to see how they continue to use him. And Anthony, I'm curious to your thought about kind of the future moving on here. Do you think that they continue to roll with this heavy safety in the box structure because of the linebacker issues? Or do you think that, they'll really only focus in on doing that when you're playing better running backs like the Christian McCaffreys and Derrick Henrys? Now you have Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. Do you feel the same way about the structure in the defense this week as you did last week against CMC?
Yeah, I do. I think you're still going to see a lot of dime packages because the Dallas Cowboys do like to get their, first of all, their tight ends heavily involved. They really do rely on their tight ends in that offensive scheme. You're going to see a lot of tight end targets. So you do need a safety in the box to cover the tight ends primarily. But then also Tony Pollard, maybe not the best receiving running back, but Ezekiel Elliott, they do like to get him involved in the receiving game. When he's fully healthy and he's going, he can actually be quite an X factor in the screen game. So you are going to see a lot of safeties in the box, in my opinion. I do think that the Giants are going to rely on those dime packages because I just think the depth on the defense leans more towards the secondary than it does towards the linebacker position. There is a massive drop off in talent from linebacker 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Like there is no depth there. But in the secondary, there is a bunch of capable players who can really move all over the defense. A lot of these safeties have the ability to play corner. Some of these corners have the ability to play safety. So you can move these guys around. And then some of these safeties have the ability to play linebacker. Tony Jefferson at this stage in his career is probably as fast as a linebacker, probably too slow to play on the deep half, but he can definitely get in the box and do great as a coverage linebacker. And again, Julian Love has the versatility to play every single secondary position plus a little bit of linebacker. You're going to see him utilized in that role. It's what makes Julian Love so valuable. It's why he was a starter on the defense this year, and you're going to continue to see him utilized in that fashion. And I think that opened things up for Dane Belton to play more in that deep half as the free safety or in the center field role. Like you're going to see Dane Belton really move around just on the back half of the field. I don't envision him getting in the box too frequently. I think, again, Tony Jefferson, Xavier McKinney, Julian Love, those are the guys you want in the box. But Dane Belton, again, has such a knack for getting his hands on the football. He almost had an interception, and he also did recover that fumble on the opening kickoff. So Dane Belton knows how to see the ball, go get the ball, and I think that's exactly what you want from a center fielder / free safety on the deep half of the field.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's kind of the excitement about those three-headed monster, right? We discussed three-headed monster in the past when it came to, Landon Collins and, I don't even know, Julian Love on the team. I remember talking about three-headed safety at the safety position. I think McKinney, Love, and somebody else. I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Logan Ryan. I don't know. Anyway, now you're kind of seeing what Wink Martindale's doing with a kind of a weird combination. I didn't really think that Dane Belton, McKinney, and Love would be as good as they've been up to this point in the season. It's only 2 weeks, mind you, but I've been very impressed with the way they're using them, right? They're all individually very good at individual things, but I think that what good coaches do is they extrapolate on individual player strengths. And that is something that, it really stands out. In the past, we've seen Jason Garrett force feed dumb-ass play calls that make no sense and really expose player weaknesses. You could even look at Saquon Barkley. They've been asking him to run a little bit different. He dropped a little bit of weight, it seems, a little bit more agile. He's lowering his shoulder a little bit more. It seems like he's running different than he has in the past, maybe a little bit. But also you look at some of the players and even McKinney. How many times, and you said this a long time ago, Anthony, regarding Xavier McKinney, he should play in the box. He should be up there. He should be getting involved in the running game. He should be involved in rushing the passer. And we're seeing him do that right now. And he has started off the season on a really good streak. And Julian Love, transitioning from cornerback to slot to free safety to strong safety. The guy's played every single role. And he played as basically that second linebacker along with Xavier McKinney last week, He's played a ton of reps in the box. And I think that really stood out as well in a way the Giants are trying to utilize their just unbelievable trio of safeties to maximize their qualities. And, Julian Love last week played 38 snaps in the box, 8 at free safety, 7 on the defensive line. He had a sack and a quarterback hurry, which is tremendous. He really iced the game toward the end there. Got that sack on Baker Mayfield, forced him to punt it in the fourth quarter. And he also played 3 snaps at cornerback. Or 5 snaps in the slot corner, the nickel position. So they moved him around a lot, but played a lot in the box. Week 1, he only played 15 in the box, 37 at free safety. They played some 2 safety looks with McKinney and Julian Love, but they can also mix and match them, right? Based on the matchup, they can say, McKinney's a little bit faster. We want him rushing the passer, or we want him on CMC. We want Julian Love playing this linebacker role. It's just so intriguing to see how the Giants are manipulating the value that they have in some of these players. But Dane Belton's role in terms of his progression moving forward, I think they want him to be one of those 3-headed safeties as well, in terms of he can play free safety, strong safety, and play on the defensive line. He can blitz. He's a powerful guy. He's strong. He can do a lot of stuff for you. My only concern is that he's not very good in man coverage. So I don't think the Giants are going to try and put him into man coverage scenarios very often, which is why I think they had him playing free safety. They wanted him just scanning the field, getting himself in a spot where he was kind of playing the zone, picking where to go. You're seeing who was going over top. And that's why they put Love and McKinney around the defensive line and in the box. They can man up on Christian McCaffrey or a tight end if need be. So do you think this week that Dane Belton sees a little bit more action at free safety and they keep those other safeties in the box?
Yeah, I think that's where Dane Belton's going to play. I think he has the most range out of all of those guys. I think, obviously, we've seen Xavier McKinney has incredible range, but that's really from his instincts. Dane Belton's a pretty fast player, and he has a lot of agility, really great game speed. When the ball is up in the air, he's able to rotate towards it, and he does an excellent job just being that center fielder, as I mentioned, or playing that deep half. I really like what Dane Belton brings to the table in that regard. And again, he almost got an interception on the sideline from playing the deep half, so he was really, really close. That would have been just an incredible debut for him in his first NFL game to get that interception. He didn't get that, but he did get that fumble recovery, which was super exciting. But when you look at Dane Belton, his skill set, how it matches up with these other guys, I've never thought that Julian Love was a great center fielder or a great deep half player because I didn't think he had too much range. I didn't like his middle of the field to sideline speed to get from one hash to the sideline. He doesn't have that speed necessarily. We've seen Xavier McKinney have that speed, but I think Dane Belton also does have that speed. So really, I think the best configuration here for your three-headed monster, Alex, is going to be Julian Love in the box because he's a very secure tackler. He's very instinctual and smart, and he can play man coverage on some running backs and tight ends. And then having Xavier McKinney play that strong safety role on one half of the field, you basically lock down one side, and then you just develop Dane Belton on the free safety side, which is a lesser thrown to side, of course, because it's not the strong side. So you're really just easing him in with some rotations over at free safety, letting him play the deep half. And I think that's exactly what the Giants need to do with Dane Belton. I think that will actually help him develop just playing opposite of Xavier McKinney, because Xavier McKinney we know is a great player, and oftentimes with safeties their play is dependent on those players around them. We saw that in the past with Landon Collins too. When he was with the Giants, he was a phenomenal strong safety, got into the box a lot, but when he was playing alongside Curtis Riley, he was terrible because there's a lot of communicating that goes on between those two back end safeties, and there's a whole lot that goes on in the secondary that's very communication based. And if you have a really bad or weak link in your secondary, it will affect the performance of some of these other players as they'll overcompensate to cheat to one side to make sure that a certain portion of the field is covered in a zone coverage. That happens quite frequently in the secondary, more so than it does on an offensive or defensive line or anywhere else. So for these guys, Xavier McKinney, again, playing that strong safety role, Dane Belton as the free safety, and then you have that hybrid money backer role from Julian Love. I think that's the perfect configuration, and you can even sprinkle in a little bit of Tony Jefferson in there in the box as well if you really need to.
Yeah, look, best case scenario, we don't see Tony Jefferson, right? You have McKinney, Love, and Belton healthy, and like maybe rotate him in every now and then. I think he has one more practice squad elevation. You can elevate a player 3 times from the practice squad before that's it. You're done. You can't do it anymore. You got to sign him or I guess let him go. So, that's kind of an interesting situation the Giants have to face in the coming days here. He'll probably become a permanent player on the roster and just kind of be there as a reserve. But like you mentioned before, the Giants played a lot of dime package in this last game, and it gave them a lot of speed, right? Wink Martindale loves speed on the back end, meaning they play one linebacker. Probably it's going to be Tay Crowder for the most part. They would like to get, I guess, 2 linebackers into the equation, but they don't trust Austin Calitro or Micah McFadden just yet. They want a little bit more speed and athleticism back there. And, when you have that back 7, like just so many defensive backs, you can start to do some unique things. And we know Wink Martindale loves to blitz. He loves to be aggressive. So with that being the case, use those DBs. You can put McKinney and Love in the box or on the D line, and one of those guys maybe shades back. One of them blitzes. I imagine Dallas is going to be looking and trying to figure out who is blitzing and when are they blitzing. That's kind of the thing. When you have Tay Crowder, when you have McKinney and Love all in the box, and only one of them is blitzing, it's impossible to tell which one. You know what I mean? So you're always going to get that extra guy rushing the passer. And if you get Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari back, there's no way you can possibly block them. You know what I mean? Unless, especially if Leonard Williams is healthy, he's day-to-day right now. We'll see what happens. We'll update you guys when we have more information on that. But you also have Dexter Lawrence, who takes 2 bodies. Dexter Lawrence takes 2 bodies himself. Leonard Williams takes 2 bodies. So you really have your center, left guard, and right guard already swallowed up by those guys. And then you have Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau on the edge, and they're 1v1 battling. So you're really hoping that their running back is able to stop, even 2 of those guys blitzing, or they have a tight end who chips. Like, the Giants, Wink Martindale's entire strategy is outnumbering the amount of blockers they have, right? Blitz more blockers than they have and let the quarterback beat you. Let them try to beat you. And Cooper Rush, I want him to be, that should be the game plan, essentially. Make Cooper Rush beat the Giants. Don't let Ezekiel Elliott, don't let Tony Pollard beat the Giants. Let Cooper Rush beat the Giants. He's a freaking backup. He played well against the Bengals, but the Bengals looked terrible. They looked awful. And it's not like the Dallas Cowboys looked like phenomenal on offense either. Cooper Rush made some throws, but if you put extreme pressure on him, he's going to make mistakes, right? He's in a hostile environment in New York City. He's at MetLife with the color rush jerseys on. The fans are going to be going absolutely nuts, especially if the edge rushers are able to play. It's going to be interesting to see, Anthony. What do you think the strategy here is to beat the Dallas Cowboys in week 3? I think really you just put as much pressure on Cooper Rush, make him beat you with his arm. Do not let the running game going.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. I mean, Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott are a really great 1-2 punch. So I trust Wink Martindale, though. Everything that he's done in run defense through his scheme over the past 2 weeks has been honestly incredible. Christian McCaffrey was mostly shut down despite that one really long run that he ripped. But other than that, he was held quiet for the majority of the day. We know Derrick Henry was completely shut down in week 1, and that is maybe the toughest thing in the world to do as an NFL defensive coordinator, to slow down Derrick Henry. But somehow Wink Martindale found a way to do that. Then he slowed down Christian McCaffrey as well. So I think going into this week, Wink Martindale just needs to keep doing what he's doing, keep scheming together the defense the way he has been, shut down the running game, and that's why the Giants are getting by, because they're forcing offenses to be very one-dimensional. When you're really slowing down a star running back, slowing down a rushing game, you're forcing the quarterback to take on a lot of responsibility, throw the ball more than they should, and throw the ball downfield more than they should, because when you're defending the run, you're setting up a lot of 3rd and longs, 2nd and longs, where they need to throw the ball. So I think that really is the crucial part of Wink Martindale's defense here and how the Giants have won these first 2 games. They've been shutting down the run, and especially this week going into a Monday night game at home against a backup quarterback, what you really want to do is shut down the run and force the Cowboys to rely on Cooper Rush. Make him throw the ball. Make Cooper Rush beat you. That's how the Giants win this game. So yes, they need to shut down the run. They need to make sure that Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard are held in check. Unfortunately, I have Tony Pollard in fantasy, but I'm hoping he has a bad week, because I'm always a Giants fan first before a fantasy football player. So I think that is the crucial thing to do here for Wink Martindale. You shut down Zeke, you shut down Tony Pollard, force Cooper Rush to beat you, put him in some 2nd and 3rd and long situations, and that's really the winning formula for the New York Giants defense.
Yeah, and ultimately those 3 safeties are going to play a big part in that. So we'll be looking out for them to really step up and have another really big game. Obviously, this defense has outperformed our expectations to open the year, which, hopefully they continue to mount that momentum and really take advantage of it. So I'm excited to see what they can continue to do as the weeks pass by, my friends. But as always, make sure to like and subscribe below on the YouTube comments. Always happy to hear your thoughts and opinions, and shout out to Good Luck Charm Tibosaurus Rex. Hopefully he can give us another win this week. He has done a tremendous job in fueling this team without them knowing it. So always awesome, guys. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Giants episode.